dailynews.com.
I'm Brandy Bruley, Superintendent of Taylorville Schools. We prepare every student for success because Taylorville schools are A+. Our new Fine Arts Center is moving forward, bringing big opportunities for our kids and our community. Learn more at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com and go Tornadoes.
WTIM. This is the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and my next guests this morning come from the Christian County Health Department, and I've got two guests sitting across the table from me right now. I'll introduce each of them one at a time, so you can put a voice to a name. To my right is Joe Torres, the Director of Environmental Health at the Christian County Health Department. Joe, thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have you in. And then to my left, making his debut on the WTIM Morning Show, at least in this capacity, is Ryan Boucher, the Lead and Vector Inspector for the Christian County Health Department. Ryan, thank you for coming on too.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you on as well. And I understand you've only been in the role now for about 3 months. How's it been going so far?
It's been going pretty good. I've learned quite a bit.
All right, yeah, and now you're going to teach us some of that as well. I know the last name certainly sounds familiar. Are you sort of from around this area?
I am.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, you've got the local familiarity as well, which I'm sure will come in handy for you and sure us as well. So, yeah, let's get into it because there's a lot to talk about at this point in the year with plenty of things going on. I know something we wanted to highlight definitely now is vector season, and we've got a lot of those bugs out there. And two of you and I were talking earlier before we got on. Seems like this summer has been, or this season, it's not officially summer yet, has been especially like rough, really, with the amount of mosquitoes and other bugs out there. And it seems like the moisture has something to do with it. Talk a little more about that.
Yeah, so just I mean, this is something normal, right? Moisture will bring about mosquito breeding. So the more rain activity we have, the more you're going to see mosquitoes coming up. So we work, we have this program, this vector program at the Christian County Health Department, so that we can monitor those. What a vector is something that can transmit disease and pathogens. So we're actively monitoring that.
Yeah, actively monitoring it. I know you folks have your tests out there as well, and well, it sounds like that's quite necessary for this year for all of the information that what we were talking about earlier and that you mentioned right about now. In terms of the way the testing is done, how does it work? Like, do you bring like one of those little like mini boxes out and try to catch a mosquito? How's that? So
we have what we call gravid traps. So we set out traps out in the field where we're likely going to see mosquitoes at. So on top of that trap, there's a net, and so basically it's a motorized fan that will suck the mosquitoes up into the net, and then we'll collect them like that live. Once we get back to the office, we will put them in the freezer so that they die, and then we do our testing like that.
Okay, interesting. So you've got like the fan in there, sucks them in, and then there's a net. Obviously, it would have to be like a pretty like finely webbed net, so that way they can't get out. Right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And then is there any sort of bait in there for the mosquitoes, or do they just kind of naturally get too close?
Yeah. So in the actual bucket that the motorized fan sits on, we put it's a mixture of rabbit food and water that has fermented. Mosquitoes really like that foul smell, so that smell will bring them to that trap to breed, and then they get sucked up into the net.
Interesting. Rabbit food baked mosquitoes. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's the alfalfa. The alfalfa ferments in it, so it attracts them.
Okay, so you've got that. So all right, then you bring it back to the lab, you freeze it, so that way it dies, and then you're able to test it from there.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So we run a series of tests on samples, and then we test for West Nile.
Okay, so now in these traps, how many mosquitoes do you typically get, like in one of the traps?
It varies. I mean, early on we'll have very few mosquitoes, like 10, 15, and then as the summer progresses, we can have hundreds.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. So a lot of them, and then you're able to. So do you then like test every single one of the mosquitoes that you end up like freezing and killing?
Yeah. Well, we have to sort through them, right? Because the females are the only ones that will transmit. They're
Okay.
the only ones that will bite and then transmit West Nile. The males don't bite. They feed on nectar, but the females are eating so they can lay their eggs and stuff.
Okay, all right. So the females are the only ones that are doing the biting then. So you've got like all the specimens. So you mentioned sorting through them. So you got to like figure out which one's the male, which one's the female.
Correct. And then we have to there are different types of mosquitoes. So we have the Culex mosquito is the only is a species that we're looking for that will transmit West Nile. So we have to sort through and look not only for the sex of the mosquito, but also what if it's that specific species.
Okay, so you got to figure out the species. You must have like a microscope to be able to look through and figure all that out.
Yeah,
right?
we have equipment to.
Okay, but still, you gotta go through like hundreds of these mosquitoes and like I would go out of my mind with all those samples.
Yeah.
But no, that's just me. That's why we have you folks doing the actual testing. So you figure that out, and then how many I know I'm trying to figure out how to ask this, right? I know last season you had an instance of the West Nile virus, and I know you reported it to us, and then we put it out to the listeners. So is it a case of like if you get just one of them that has it, that you confirm it's in the area? Is that kind of how that works?
So basically, how it works is West Nile is transmitted via birds. So mosquitoes will bite a bird, and then they'll carry that, bite a person, and then that can transmit West Nile. Now, will you get West Nile if you get bit by a mosquito? There's no telling. There's a chance, right? So we always just kind of say those who are immunocompromised, the elderly, children, to just be very careful if they're out, use protection, use spray to protect them from bites. Avoid the hours of dusk and dawn, because that's when they're out.
Okay.
Trying to feed.
Yeah. So hours of dusk and dawn. So like the sunrise and the sunset.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunate because I like seeing the sunrise and sunset. Might have to limit that to the inside of my walls. But no, that's in all seriousness, good tip there. So in terms of West Nile, what are some of the symptoms?
I mean, I would say that there's going to be some fever, nausea. It could come off as like a normal flu. So if you are constantly getting bit, I would advise see your doctor, and then they can run tests. So
yeah, so like I guess if you're saying if you're getting a lot of bites, like unfortunately I have recently, and you have the symptoms that you described, then see the doctor.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Because you don't know, right? You could be sick. You could just have the flu.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I wouldn't stress out too much about it, but just be aware.
Okay. Yeah. No. Good tip right there because because those symptoms that you described sound like no fun. So so you do the testing for West Nile. I know we haven't been told about it yet. How have the tests gone like this season so far? Has there been any like notable occurrences of anything?
Not yet. So we typically will see our first positivity in a mosquito late June, July, August. So as of now, we have not had any.
Okay, so you just go through all those tests, negative, and you just keep going like that.
Yep.
All right. Well, it sounds like a lot of work, but still important work for what can happen if you find West Nile virus. So yeah, that's how you do the testing. Anything else you wanted to kind of highlight about vector season, kind of what you folks do, what listeners can do, anything like that?
So we also collect ticks. Ticks is another vector insect that can transmit disease. So we've been out collecting ticks. We collect in spring and we collect in fall. And we'll we do a passive surveillance, right? So we collect them, we send them off to IDPH, and then they do the testing, and then they do the identification of them.
So is there like a state regulation that says like, for ticks, like, the state wants to be the one to do the testing? Is that kind of how that comes about?
Yeah, that's just how the grant's set up. So they have their equipment to test, and a lot of the local health departments don't have that kind of equipment to test stuff. So we send them off to the state. They have their labs where they can do that kind of work.
That makes a lot more sense. So you do the ticks there. What is the tick presence been like this season compared to past, and compared to just other bugs and mosquitoes?
I mean, we are finding a little bit more. I wouldn't say a drastic amount of more, but we have been finding a lot. We recently did a tick drag up at St. Chris Lake a couple of weeks ago, and found a number of Lone Star ticks and a lot of nymphs. So different ticks have different cycles. So we will do collection in spring and in fall, and kind of avoid collecting during the summer months, because that's usually when the nymphs are out, and they are so small. They're like the size of a poppy seed. So if you're out, you can get them and bring them home and not even know you have them on them.
Wow.
Right.
That's scary. Yeah. You mentioned Lone Star ticks. So like, how is that different from like a normal tick?
Well, there's different species of ticks, just like there's different species of mosquitoes. So you have the Lone Star tick, you have the black-legged tick, the American dog tick. Like there's a number of different ticks. So what we see here is the black-legged tick or the deer tick, and a lot of the Lone Star. Okay.
Now, are the Lone Star ticks like larger than other ticks?
No. So basically, they're going to all start at about the same size, and the more they feed, the bigger they get. Right. So when we're out in the field, we can see deer running around, and visually you can see the ticks on their back because they're so big.
Wow.
And that's from a distance. So
yeah. Now, I was interested with the Lone Star ticks, right? Because the Lone Star state is Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas, so I thought maybe that one's going to be a little larger there. But no, still worth noting there with the ticks. I've been talking with Joe Torres, Director of Environmental Health, and Ryan Boucher, Lead and Vector Inspector, both at the Christian County Health Department. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more with them, and that'll be coming up right here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
Of the 2024 construction projects by Christian County businesses, those businesses saved an estimated $370,000 in sales tax by utilizing the county's enterprise zone. Through the efforts of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation over the past 20-plus years to establish and grow the county's enterprise zone, new and existing businesses in the county can save significantly in sales taxes. Find out how they can help your business by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. The Christian County Economic Development Corporation is moving Christian County forward.
Finding the right employees can be a real challenge these days, whether you're hiring full-time or part-time. That's where the regional radio stations come in. We're here to help you connect with the qualified candidates you need. Check out IllinoisJobPost.com. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. It's part of our comprehensive radio and internet employment campaign designed to get your job openings noticed. For details, just reach out to your account manager. Put the power of radio and the internet to work for you at IllinoisJobPost.com.
I'm Jeff Grimmett, Assistant Vice President at People's Bank and Trust in Taylorville. People's Bank and Trust is proud to sponsor Taylorville Junior High School Students of the Month on all of the WTIM platforms.
Hi, I am Ella Ralph. I am the 8th grade student of the month. My parents are Amber and Todd Ralph. The school subjects I enjoy are ELA and math because I feel these will benefit me in the long run. This year at TJHS, I am involved in Taylorville Junior High basketball and volleyball. I also participate in St. Mary's Youth Group. After high school, I'd like to be a nurse anesthetist because I feel it will benefit my lifestyle and teach me lessons that are beneficial. A fun fact I would like you to know about me is my favorite place to visit is Colorado.
Congratulations to these students on this honor from People's Bank and Trust. We put people first every day at People's Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Double your impact with sight and sound. Reach customers through our 6 regional radio stations, plus capture their attention with our 36 by 72-inch digital billboard right on Route 29 in Taylorville. That's nearly 11,000 drivers seeing your message every single day, while they're already listening to your radio ads. Ready to maximize your reach? Call your regional radio account manager today and put your business in front of eyes and ears across Central Illinois. Regional radio is where your message gets noticed.
Whether you need a same-day procedure or life-saving care in an emergency, Taylorville Memorial Hospital has the technology and the team to deliver exceptional care. It's where great care comes together. Learn more at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Ready for a new journey? Durham School Services is hiring school bus drivers in Taylorville. To learn more, click their rotating banner ad on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
And we're back on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station, and it's sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and I continue my conversation with Joe Torres, Director of Environmental Health, and Ryan Boucher, Lead and Vector Inspector, both at the Christian County Health Department. Ryan, I know we were talking a little bit at the start of the first segment about your introduction into the role. Talk a little bit about what your role is like as Lead and Vector Inspector, especially this season with everything we've talked about.
So my responsibilities include going out and doing a standard health inspection on different facilities. And then they also include, obviously, vector surveillance. So I go out and I test mosquitoes after we collect them, and then we go and do tick drags. Also, something that I will do is once I get certified as a lead assessor, a lead risk assessor, I'll start going out and assessing different homes for their lead. Okay, so a lot of different assessments there. When it comes to like the vector test, so like, are you the one like out there like gathering the specimens, or are you doing the test back in the lab? What's that like? So I typically do both. I'll go out and set up the traps on Friday, and then Monday morning I'll go out and pick them up, put them in the freezer, and then by Tuesday I'll test them, and we'll see what quantity of West Nile virus we have in the population that we test. And for the tick drags, we typically will just go out and do a standard tick drag, just me and Joe, and then I'll collect the ticks and send them off to IDPH, and they'll test them. Okay, so if there are any key findings from all of that, you know who to thank in Ryan Boucher. So we were talking a little bit during the first segment, and this would be really good to just kind of put a bow on and highlight again. Joe, you mentioned like wearing protection, right? Your bug spray or anything else like that. Talk a little bit more about like what you recommend folks do to protect themselves from these insects.
So if you're going to be out, in areas where there are mosquitoes and ticks, definitely use a bug repellent to protect yourselves. Wear long sleeves. Avoid that, dusk dawn hour. If you're out hiking, try to stay toward the center of the trail as opposed to walking on the edges. What ticks like to do is they do a lot of people think that they jump from trees, and they don't. They will fall and they will cling onto you. But what ticks do is they will go onto the end of a branch and they will stick their arms out and they will just hold their arms up. And that's called questing. So, and then when something walks by, a deer, rabbit, some kind of mammal, they'll cling onto them. And so that's why we do the tick drag. So we'll drag a sheet, they'll cling onto it, and then we can pick them off like that. So stay toward the center of the aisle, center of the trail. That'll avoid kind of rubbing on any kind of trees and stuff. Yeah, no, some good tips right there. If you're going to be outside, I don't know about you, but anytime I'm outside longer than just walking between a building and a car, I've got the bug spray on because it's been that bad this season. By the way, on an airplane, I do walk in the middle of the aisle. So, yes, yeah. So I don't say it on that one. I'll tell you what, we've got a minute to go. I understand you wanted to give a quick reminder about temporary events and having to have those permits. What do you want to share with our listeners? Yes, so right now is the season where festivals are going on, people are holding kind of outdoor events. So if you are serving food to the public, more than likely you are going to need a permit. So if you have questions, please call us at 217-824-4113, and we can kind of guide you into what type of permit you need. It helps, doing it in advance so that you're not caught off guard, and to make sure that you are fully prepared to serve food to the public, to make sure everybody's safe.
Yeah, and I bet also with a lot of these things happening on weekends, right? And it maybe a little more difficult to do it at that point. And yeah, certainly a lot of things going on, with farmers markets and festivals like that. So glad we gave you time to highlight that there. Joe Torres and Ryan Boucher, both with the Christian County Health Department, have been the guests in this part of the show. Ryan and Joe, thank you both.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, and thank you for listening to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. We'll have one more conversation coming up in 10 minutes' time.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Things are heating up again between the U.S. and Iran. The U.S.